Yo, it's your boy GT here from the Gangster Times. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Also hit me up on Instagram, which is gangstertimes_official, and on my Snapchat, type in the search box, Gangster Times. So it's taken nearly 3.5 years, but a moped mugger known as Ghost has finally been convicted of murdering a man for his £7,000 Rolex watch in southeast London. So father of one, Danny Pearce, was shot and stabbed in front of his girlfriend Stephanie Holland as they walked home from Oliver's Jazz Club in Greenwich. Two masked men confronted him and demanded his designer watch on King William Walk in July 2017. When Mr. Pearce refused, the suspects chased, then cornered him and took turns stabbing him as he lay defenseless in the streets. So the attack was witnessed by his girlfriend and two terrified friends. So prosecutors told jurors Mr. Pearce was attacked by two killers wearing crash helmets and balaclavas who had been hunting for victims. But David Egan, who's 24 years old, known only as Ghost, who was Jordan Bailey's accomplice, evaded justice for 3 years. So in the early hours on the day Mr. Pearce died, and Egan had been looking up Rolex watches on the internet searching how to tell if Rolex is white gold. He also searched for Zombie and how to take a bracelet off a Rolex days after Mr. Pearce was killed. Web history showed that newspaper reports about a moped robbery were accessed by him in January 2017. The prosecutor said the men shouted, "Give me your watch," as they confronted Mr. Pearce and brandished the weapons. Miss Holland, his girlfriend, cried run. As she ran back towards Nevada Street, gunshots were fired. Mr. Pearce was chased up and down the road before Bailey-Mascoll, who's 28 years old and he's previously been sentenced, stabbed him beside a car park. Egan then cornered him on the front step of a flat where he knifed him again. Ms. Holland tossed her boyfriend's Rolex at the muggers, but they killed him anyway. Mr. Pearce was pronounced dead at the scene shortly afterwards, despite the efforts of paramedics and police trying to save him, and a post-mortem gave the cause of death as multiple stabbings, but police also found gunshot grazings and evidence of at least 4 shots fired in his direction as he attempted to flee. An investigation was launched by homicide detectives from the Met Specialist Crime Command. So Egan from Deptford was found guilty of murder, possessing a firearm, and robbery. And he was also convicted of 2 unconnected robberies in July 2017. And he's going to be sentenced on Monday, December the 7th. So his accomplice, Bailey-Mascoll of Dartford in Kent, was convicted of murder and sentenced to life with a minimum of 35 years in July 2018. And during Bailey-Mascoll's trial, footage was shown of him and his accomplice picking out their target. The passenger on the moped is seen raising his arm to point back at Mr. Pearce, clearly alerting his accomplice that they had found a potential victim to prey upon. Moments after he refused to surrender his Rolex, Bailey-Mascoll produced a large knife and began chasing Mr. Pearce, while Egan shot in his direction as he ran for his life. So the investigating officer, Detective Inspector Joe Sidaway, said the level of violence used against Danny was truly horrendous, and the length of time over which they carried out the attack, which was up to 2 minutes, and it marked it out as the most sustained random stabbing attack I've seen in my 26 year in the police service. Danny had sought help at a nearby address, but he was cornered and they showed no pity. Danny was repeatedly stabbed as he lay collapsed on the steps of a stranger's house. It was only when his girlfriend shouted and that she'd give them Danny's watch that they stopped their remorseless attack. Without a hint of compassion, they grabbed the Rolex and fled the scene. The man who lived at the address opened the door to a dying young man. Some witnesses who ran from the scene thought it was a terror attack due to its ferocity. It was a sickening and prolonged lethal violence against a defenseless man with a family, and it was all done for a wristwatch. So the model was believed to be a silver Rolex Datejust. So Mr. Pearce's mother, Jan Pearce, said in a statement that Danny was randomly murdered in Greenwich. He leaves behind a family who loved him unconditionally, including 2 sisters and a brother. But it's not only us as adults suffering, Danny's nieces and nephews are grieving, and it hurts them in different ways. How do you answer a child when they ask where Uncle Danny is? We need to get these murderers off the streets. Who knows who will be next, and another family will go through the same devastation as us. I don't want another mum to go through this agony. So sad news there coming out of the streets of London. Another stabbing, another victim. Danny Pearce, may you rest in peace, and my condolences go out to your family. It's your boy GT. Keep it locked, keep it real.